Your Highness, stay a moment. Here comes another hilarious, fully completed satisfying revenge story. Like, and you'll lose 10 pounds, princesses. Comment, and you'll grow 5 centimeters taller. Save, and your fingers will become slender and elegant. Make sure your Wi-Fi is steady. Now let's dive straight into this chaotic, satisfying story. I woke up one day and transmigrated into the body of the vicious supporting female lead, who's rich, gorgeous, and has a childhood sweetheart. The male lead blindly defends the female lead. When the female lead demanded I apologize, I told her to get lost. My own dad played the emotional card, begging me to let the female lead off. I told him to get lost too. Later, both my dad and my former childhood sweetheart knelt before me, begging for forgiveness. Don't even try to cling to me. I've been staring at myself in the mirror for half an hour. No reason other than I'm absolutely mesmerized by my own beauty. I woke up, only to find myself trapped in a campus sweet romance novel I'd read not long ago. Worse still, I'm Xiaoning, the vicious side character who dies a tragic death in the end. I was just worrying about how to escape this world, until I looked in the mirror and immediately kowtowed 3 times to heaven. For this peerless beauty alone, I'm rewriting the original miserable fate of this character. Someone suddenly knocked on my bedroom door. Right after that, Aunt Lu, the live-in housekeeper, pushed the door open. Ning, still throwing a tantrum? Go change your clothes and come downstairs, all right? All the guests have arrived. Aunt Lu has been with the Xiao family since Xiaoning was little. She's one of the few people the original character was close to. I snapped back to my senses and remembered tonight was Xiaoning's birthday party. As for why she'd been throwing a fit? Simple. The female lead by Xue and her mother by Xuqin were both showing up to the party. What's more, Xiaoning's father was about to announce huge news. He was getting remarried, and his bride-to-be was none other than Bai Xuqin. It had only been a year since Xiaoning's mother passed away, and she'd finally pulled herself out of grief to hold this birthday party. Now suddenly she's stuck with a new stepmother out of nowhere. As soon as she got the news from her father, Xiaoning lost her temper completely. That night, she splashed wine all over Bai Xuqin and slapped her twice. From then on, she was labeled an unfilial daughter. It's no wonder Xiaoning flew off the handle. Bai Xue was a poor student sponsored by her father. Yet he ended up entangled with the student's mother. Bai Xue stole her childhood sweetheart at school. And Bai Xuqin stole her father. This mother-daughter pair ruined her perfect life completely. And Xiaoning could never swallow this insult. Later on, Xiaoning accidentally found out Bai Xue was actually her father's illegitimate daughter all along. Thinking about this, I clenched my fists in anger. Time to go face this mother and daughter pair who ruin other people's families. As soon as I walked downstairs, I heard a woman speaking. Everyone, please make yourselves at home and enjoy the party. She already acted like she was the mistress of this house. As I walked closer, I got a clear look at her. She wore a haute couture gown with a trailing skirt, her long hair tied up perfectly to set off her made-up face. She was covered head to toe in jewelry, no empty spot left unadorned. This must be Bai Xuqin. The second she saw me, Bai Xuqin broke into an exaggerated smile and rushed over to hold my hand. Do I even know you, Auntie? I walked straight past her without a glance, greeting several familiar elders politely. Bai Xuqin looked hurt, eyes glistening with tears as she stood behind my father. I told you we shouldn't come. It's clear Ning doesn't welcome my daughter and me. As she spoke, the girl beside her in a white dress hurried over to comfort her in a soft voice. The girl was petite and delicate, with a pair of captivating doe eyes, watery, bright, and innocent, instantly winning people over at first sight. My scumbag father really has good genes. Both his legitimate and illegitimate daughters are stunningly pretty. No wonder he managed to win over the original character's mother back then. Just as I thought this, my cold-hearted father walked over with a stern face. Ning, why don't you greet Aunt Bai? You're deliberately embarrassing her. His voice was calm, yet his tone was sharp and reproachful. Honestly, A big part of why the original Xiao Ning hated this mother-daughter pair was her father's unfairness. After remarrying, he favored them outrageously. Spoiled since childhood, Xiao Ning had never endured such cold treatment. Of course, she'd lash out at them. We'd barely even met, and he was already trying to make me uncomfortable on purpose. Right after my father finished speaking, I covered my mouth in feigned surprise. "This beautiful lady is Aunt Bai? Dad, you always said her family can barely afford 3 meals a day. But her skin is perfectly maintained, and her hands are even softer than mine." I spoke loud enough for the entire banquet hall to hear. The crowd fell silent for a second, all eyes fixed on Bai Shuqin and her daughter. The wealthy ladies began whispering among themselves. "She barely has any fine lines on her face. She must have had loads of cosmetic procedures. She definitely hasn't suffered a day of hardship in her life." The murmurs of the crowd made Bai Shuqin and my father's faces turn livid. My father always told outsiders he met Bai Shuqin by chance while sponsoring the top student Bai Shui, and was touched by her kindness and strength, which led him to decide on remarrying. Kindness and strength? Don't insult those 2 words. Bai Shui stepped forward at the perfect moment to play the innocent victim. "Uncle Xiao takes pity on Mom. Meeting Uncle Xiao is the greatest luck Mom and I have ever had. Meeting me is your greatest misfortune." Before the mother and daughter could lay on more melodrama, I cut them off with a casual, "Oh." Then I turned to smile at all the guests. "Welcome everyone to my birthday party. Aunt Lu and I decorated everything ourselves. Hope you all enjoy it." The guests got the hint instantly, going back to chatting business or gathering to play mahjong, carrying on as usual. I walked over to chat with a group of peers my age. My father soon came over and told me to keep Bai Shui company, saying it would help her fit into high society circles sooner. "We'll all be a family someday. Helping her is helping yourself. Good girl, I know you're just throwing a temporary tantrum. I married Aunt Bai just so someone can take good care of you." I nodded slowly. "Dad, you said it yourself, it's all for the future. We can talk about it when the future comes." Only the real Xiao Ning cared about her father's approval, living for his kind words. But I'm not her. Don't come near me with your fake family affection. Besides, Bai Shui doesn't need me to show her around. She's perfectly capable of worming her way into wealthy circles on her own. In fact, she's already halfway there. Sure enough, right after I spoke, Bai Shui's face turned pale. She stared at me with those teary doe eyes, silently playing the wronged victim as if I'd done something terrible to her. The next second, someone stepped in front of her to shield her. I looked up and met his face. Fair skin, sharp, delicate features, long, thick eyelashes casting soft shadows. He stared down at me, his eyes cold and emotionless. "Xiao Ning, she's a guest here. Must you embarrass her? Must you make her cry to be happy?" His voice was deep and pleasant to the ear. The second our eyes locked, my heart twinged sharply. Even with a new soul in this body, this heart still raced at the sight of Zhou Yang. This was Xiao Ning's childhood sweetheart, the boy she'd loved for over a decade. She always thought this cold, aloof boy treated her differently from everyone else. Turns out he's just the male lead. And she's nothing but a disposable side character. Honestly, this sweet romance novel really did the female lead dirty, while making the supporting leads suffer endlessly. I pouted. "Yeah, look how happy I am." I curled my lips into a smile and turned to my father.
"See?
Young Master Zhou is already so close to her.
What are you even worried about?"
Zhou Yang frowned, his tone laced with impatience. "What are you talking about? Dad wants me to introduce Miss Bai to wealthy socialites, but I don't want to. Now look how upset she is." I spread my hands, pretending to be confused as I glanced at Bai Shui. "Why are you sad anyway? Having young Master Zhou protecting you is such a good thing." I spoke in a sarcastic, teasing tone, then looked straight into Zhou Yang's eyes, enunciating every word clearly. "You'd better hold on tight. Don't get dumped." As I walked away, I heard Bai Shui hurriedly explaining herself to Zhou Yang. This is just the beginning. Didn't this mother want a formal marriage? And the daughter want to marry into wealth? I'll shatter every single one of your silly dreams. It was almost time to cut the birthday cake when I saw my father walking down the stairs with Bai Shuqin, chatting and laughing intimately, holding hands like a perfectly loving couple. The candles were lit. After making a wish and blowing them out, we prepared to cut the cake. Bai Shui and Zhou Yang also walked over. I casually handed Bai Shui a slice of cake. As she took it, she bit her lip and whispered tearfully to explain herself. I don't want to get to know any rich people at all. I had no patience for her fake innocent act, so I asked loudly for everyone to hear. You don't want to meet wealthy people? Bai Shui froze on the spot, flustered by all the staring eyes. Her eyes welled up with tears instantly. And no, that's not what I meant. I tilted my head. So, do you want to meet them or not? Bai Shui was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and finally burst into tears and ran off. Seeing her daughter run away crying, Bai Shuqin hurried after her, with my father rushing anxiously right behind.
Perfect.
In the original story, my father announced his engagement to Bai Shuqin exactly when I cut the cake. Now, he didn't get the chance. He'll have to make the announcement later. I turned around to enjoy my birthday cake, only to notice Zhou Yang was still standing there. He stared at me with clear disappointment. Xiao Ning, how could you become like this? I shrugged casually. Mind your own business. Zhou Yang's eyes widened slightly, utterly stunned. He knew exactly how much Xiao Ning loved him. She would never lose her temper or speak harshly to him. But I'm not her. Mind your own business. Savage comme bex, pure bliss. Being unapologetically blunt is true happiness. The original Xiao Ning was far more well-mannered than me, yet she still ended up acting out in desperation when pushed too far. Even a rabbit will bite when cornered. And people still gossip and say the rabbit is overreacting. I didn't transmigrate into this novel to suffer anyone's nonsense, not even the male lead. I took a bite of the cake. It tasted amazing. As Bai Shuqin chased after Bai Shui earlier, I noticed new jewelry on her left wrist. I glanced up toward the third floor. Looks like there's interesting drama ahead. Wuzhou High School, where I study, is a top-tier high school with excellent teachers and plenty of wealthy, influential students. After Xiao Ning's mother passed away, my father openly enrolled Bai Shui into the school, claiming he couldn't let such a talented student waste her potential just because she was poor. He kept lying to everyone that Bai Shui came from a poor family, but was an outstanding top student, too talented not to attend Wuzhou High. At first, the original Xiao Ning didn't pay it any mind. But soon she noticed this so-called poor student was always competing against her in everything. Xiao Ning's grades were average, not outstanding but not bad either. But ever since Bai Shui arrived, my father kept comparing the two of them non-stop. Troubled circumstances forge outstanding character. Ning, you should learn from Bai Shui. Xiao Ning seethed with rage. From then on, every event Xiao Ning joined, Bai Shui would squeeze her way into. Take the freshman welcome party piano solo, for example. It was originally Xiao Ning's spot, until it was suddenly given to Bai Shui. Everyone was shocked. How could a supposedly poor girl play the piano so well? She just wiped her tears and said she'd learned piano before her family fell on hard times, playing the fallen noble lady act perfectly. Students all sided with her. Bai Shui doesn't play as well as Xiao Ning, but we should give her a chance to shine. Xiao Ning already gets all the spotlight anyway. Typical campus romance novel logic. Never give the supporting female lead any fair treatment. The day after the birthday party was Monday. The driver dropped me off at school. At the school gate, I spotted Bai Shui riding a bicycle. She looked stunning in her blue and white school uniform, the morning wind blowing her bangs, sunlight glinting in her eyes like scattered gold, pure female lead drama vibes. Cars had to enter through the back gate, which was way too far from my classroom, so I had the driver drop me right at the school entrance. I stepped out of the car as Bai Shui pushed her bike toward the bike shed. Most students knew about her mother's relationship with my father already. Several classmates had even attended my birthday party and knew she'd stayed over at my house last night. Seeing me get out of a luxury car while Bai Shui rode a bike, they started whispering immediately. Xiao Ning could have let her driver give, Bai Shui arrived. She's definitely doing this on purpose to bully her. Two girls spoke with absolute certainty. Bai Shui bit her lip in a wronged manner. It's fine. Riding a bike is nice too. The two other girls fumed in anger. How could Xiao Ning be so mean? If it were the original Xiao Ning, she'd just ignore them. Too proud to explain herself, either fighting back or walking away silently.
But me?
I hold grudges and settle every score myself. Good morning, girls. I walked over to them casually, glancing at Bai Shui. Wow, Miss Bai, you should sign up for the National Cycling Championship. The three girls looked confused. One frowned and asked why. You rode all this way faster than my car, not even out of breath. Your physical fitness is beyond ordinary people. I smiled meaningfully, and the two girls caught on to my hint right away. I know you hate me for stealing Uncle Xiao from your mom. Bai Shui burst into teary sobs, but you can't hurt me no matter how angry you are. Zhou Yang immediately arranged for someone to drive her to the infirmary, roughly shoving me aside. I almost laughed out loud. The male and female leads in this novel are clearly both mentally unstable. I pulled out my phone to call the police, but Zhou Yang swatted my phone away in one swift move and slapped me hard across the face. Xiao Ning apologized to Bai Shui at once. He put all his strength into that slap. My ears rang for a moment. What are you doing? Chu Ling was just as shocked as I was. She rushed forward and stood protectively in front of me. Zhou Yang clenched his raised fist, unable to meet my eyes, yet still insisting stubbornly. Apologize to her. Chu Ling held my hand, saying she'd handle it. I smiled faintly. Chu Ling, I told you I'm pretty good at fighting, remember? Right after I spoke, I lunged forward in one quick move, landing an uppercut that made Zhou Yang stagger backward. Before he could react, I kicked him to the ground, then leaned down and slapped him repeatedly across the face left and right. I would have smashed his face in if people hadn't pulled me away. You're not worthy of hitting me. I shook off everyone's hands, staring down at Bai Shui, who'd stopped crying in fright. I'd never stoop so low as to push you into the lake. If I hate someone, I'll beat them until they can't stand. She flinched back in fear. I then glanced around at everyone defending Bai Shui. Call the police now. You think shouting louder makes you right? Bai Shui tried one last desperate plea. Shut up. Chu Ling rarely looked cold, pulling me aside to check my face and hands for injuries. Once she confirmed I was unhurt, she spoke up. There's a surveillance camera right there. The footage will prove everything. Everyone fell into shock, asking why there was a camera there. Chu Ling hesitated slightly, then said she'd gone to retrieve the camera we'd set up for stargazing. Bai Shui suddenly complained of feeling unwell, her face red and swollen from my slaps, looking utterly disheveled. She shot me a glare before leaving with her driver. Zhou Yang still stubbornly believed Bai Shui's lies. We checked the surveillance camera soon after. The footage clearly showed Bai Shui jumping into the lake on her own, completely unrelated to me. Everyone except Chu Ling looked embarrassed, apologized awkwardly, then slipped away one by one. Only Chu Ling and I were left alone. You were supposed to film the night sky for stargazing. Why was the camera pointed right at us? Doesn't matter. Want me to go to the police station with you? Nah, let's buy a new phone first. I had dinner at Chu Ling's place afterward, then we headed downtown to get a new phone and SIM card. As soon as I inserted the SIM, my phone flooded with text messages and missed calls, all from Zhou Yang, my father, and Bai Shuqin. Quite the dramatic lineup. Zhou Yang's message, I wronged you. Bai Shui admitted she jumped into the lake on purpose. Please answer my call. My father's message, Shui made a silly mistake out of impulse. Don't call the police. Family scandals shouldn't be spread outside. Take it out on me if you're angry. Boring. I turned my phone off. Chu Ling asked if I wanted something sweet to eat. I'm full. Does your grandpa cook often? His food is amazing. Once in a while. Chu Ling looked at me softly. Did Zhou Yang hurt you badly today? I stared at her like she'd lost her mind. Hurt. I could eat 2 bowls of rice tonight. The only regret is I didn't get to beat him up enough. Chu Ling fell silent for a second, then laughed. You really are good at fighting. Did you learn martial arts as a kid? Sure did. 100 real-life combat matches under my belt. I never start fights unprovoked. I almost accidentally exposed I wasn't the real Xiao Ning. I cleared my throat quickly. Just basic self-defense, nothing special. She nodded. So you're really giving up on Zhou Yang? Why do you keep bringing him up? You want to chase him? No way. He's nothing but a pretty face with no redeeming qualities. I'd never like someone like that. Good to hear. Hear what? Good to hear I can confess to you without worrying. She smiled gently. Xiao Ning, I like you. Wait, what? My eyes went wide in shock. Did Chu Ling just confess to me? I immediately fled the scene in embarrassment. That night, I dreamed nonstop about Chu Ling, even dreamed we fell in love and got married. In the dream, she passed away young from poor health. I jolted awake in fright and immediately called her. What's wrong, Xiao Ning? Her voice was hoarse with sleepiness. Did you just wake up? You're perfectly healthy, right? You won't die young, will you? A soft laugh came from the other end of the line. Don't worry, I'm perfectly healthy. I hung up and fell back asleep instantly. The next morning, I was still reeling from that ridiculous dream. I actually called her in the middle of the night just to ask if she'd die young.
I'm absolutely insane.
I dragged myself through washing up and heading out the door, only to find Zhou Yang waiting outside my house. What bad luck. Xiao Ning, I was wrong yesterday. Hit me if you're still angry, I won't fight back. You asked for it. I raised my hand and slapped his phone right out of his grasp. Now we're even. I didn't waste another word on him, just fretting over how to face Chu Ling at school. The second I saw Chu Ling at school, I tried to turn and run, but she called me over. She greeted me openly and walked over, handing me a medical checkup report. Why are you giving me this? I'm perfectly healthy. I can run a 1,000-meter race without gasping for breath. I don't believe it. Everyone says you're frail and sickly. She smiled and ruffled my hair casually. I didn't bother arguing. Turns out she'd been pretending to be weak just to skip military training and PE class. You're such a rebel. My face flushed red. She handed the report back to me with a smile. Did you reject me yesterday because you thought I'd die young? And no. So, does that mean you're turning me down? Her bright smile made my face burn completely red.
YG.
I don't like lazy people. I instantly regretted my words. I actually really like her. All right then. She didn't seem upset at all. But I still don't want to miss out on going to school with you. Studying is important. I don't want romance distracting me from my grades. Chu Ling looked down at me gently. Then can I keep pursuing you slowly? No way, help. I wanted to slap myself for saying that. She still smiled softly. Sorry for startling you with my sudden confession. Let's stay just like we used to for now. Maybe by graduation, you'll give me a chance. I nodded awkwardly, secretly thinking she's perfect for me anyway. Bai Shui didn't dare pick a fight with me anymore and transferred school soon after. Zhou Yang lingered around me every single day, begging for forgiveness at every chance he got. He's basically a broken record stuck on saying sorry nonstop. I just treated him like invisible air, feeling nothing for him anymore, no love or hate at all. One day a classmate called me, saying Zhou Yang had been in bad spirits ever since I cut him off and even started seeing a therapist, begging me to go visit him. I just said LOL and hung up, blocking his number right after. Free from the annoying male and female lead drama, my life became peaceful and calm. I focused on attending classes, taking notes, and discussing study problems with Chu Ling every day. My grades shot up drastically. By the end of my sophomore year, I was top 10 in my class. Why not first place? Come on, I can't outstudy Chu Ling anyway. Not long after, my father split up with Bai Shuqin. Since they were never legally married, Bai Shuqin got nothing from the divorce. Her small company went bankrupt soon after, leaving her drowning in massive debt. Word got out that she abandoned treatment for her sick child due to lack of money, and the poor kid eventually passed away. He was truly the only innocent one in all this mess. I hired someone to hold a memorial ritual for him, hoping he'd choose a better family in his next life. My father also suffered greatly. To get revenge, Bai Shuqin sold his company's confidential secrets to rival businesses. He even waited around my uncle's house many times, crying uncontrollably and begging me to forgive him and plead my case with my uncle. Can I forgive you? Could my late mother forgive you? I told him coldly. Don't ever show up in front of me again. If uncle finds out about your years of infidelity, you won't like the consequences. As for Zhou Yang, his family sent him abroad. The night before he left, he stood outside my house in the pouring rain all night, soaked to the bone. I glanced out the window once, then drew the curtains and called Chu Ling to chat on the phone without a second thought. The next news I heard about Bai Shui was at my university admissions celebration banquet. My uncle threw a grand feast to celebrate me getting into Peking University. Some classmates whispered at the table that Bai Shui got caught being the other woman in someone's marriage and got badly beaten up. Guess she really inherited her family's signature habit of ruining other people's relationships. I stopped caring about all these irrelevant people long ago. I pulled out my phone and called Chu Ling. Are you here yet? Come down to the lobby and pick me up. She hung up on me right away. I was about to call back when someone suddenly covered my eyes from behind. So childish. I laughed and pulled their hands away, only to see a bouquet of flowers in front of me. Xiaoning, will you go out with me? I immediately wrapped my arms around her neck and kissed her cheek lightly. What do you think all those late-night phone calls were for anyway? That's the end of the story, Your Highness. If you loved it, follow for more chaotic, satisfying stories coming soon.